We all have those who depend on us, the ones we love. Every morning, you depend on us to watch over them. With the largest team of weather experts, commanding the most powerful weather technology.
And the severe weather has now passed.
Depend on us every morning. NBC5 Today. Texas connects us.
Okay, this is the first pictures of the damage. We're going to get the reporter on the phone. These are first pictures of the damage. You are seeing this as we are here at NBC5. And it looks very bad out here. You can tell by the trees being stripped. Let's get to Grant Johnston, who is an eyewitness on the scene.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, Grant.
All right, Rick. This is a bad scene here. We are east of Canton on I-20, and there are dozens and dozens of cars that have been flipped. It's a major scene here. A tornado definitely crossed over, and there is structural damage. And there are I would estimate, about 30 to 40 cars that have sustained major damage. Some of them are upside down. They're flipped. We're in the eastbound lane. This is all on the west side, the westbound lane, and primarily to the north. And there is major damage. And I just hope and pray that nobody is seriously injured. But it is a very grim scene. There very well still could be. There most likely are people still in those vehicles there, but it is a dire scene here. Major damage here, just east of Canton on I-20 from the tornado that crossed over I-20 about 10 to 15 minutes ago. I'll put this let's see, at the intersection of I-20 and Farm Road 17. I-20 and Farm Road 17, but I'm estimating about 30, 40 vehicles that have suffered major damage. Some of them upside down and just completely destroyed. Rick, one last thing.
Go ahead.
I would estimate this as winds of, I'm going to estimate it at, let's say, EF-2, maybe EF-3 damage.
Okay, and certainly strong enough.
Vehicles are arriving on the scene here, but this is, I'm afraid that there are going to be mass casualties with this.
Well, at any time you have a tornado of that strength passing a highly traveled road, such as I-20, you run that risk, and let's just hope for the best here. But when you're on the road, you are very susceptible, and that is why you have to stay always up on the situation. Go ahead, David.
Rick, I've been hearing reports that the damage path may be half a mile wide, which is not surprising considering what it looked like, the view that we were seeing from Texas Thunder Truck earlier. Half a mile wide swath of damage, and it's been going south to north across much of Van Zandt County.
And we believe that it is still lifting to the north, and still may be producing.
It's still going.
And Brian is saying it is still going. It's not in the Canton area anymore, but it continues to lift north,
heading towards Fruitvale.
Fruitvale, and we think it's going to be in there very shortly. Folks in Fruitvale and surrounding area, be in your tornado shelters. You can get an idea of what this tornado is capable of by looking at this video. And this is eerily reminiscent of the December 26th tornado that affected the turnpike. And there were a lot of problems there on that day, and we still have the threat for severe weather to the east of Dallas and Fort Worth. No severe weather in Dallas and Fort Worth. Brian, you have some new information.
We need to go back to our big S-band radar here in a second when we get the chance, because this circulation is still very much intact, and it is headed right toward Fruitvale. So folks in Fruitvale, if you have not heard the warning, you're not heeding the warning, please do so. This is still very much on the ground.
Here's Fruitvale, and here is Highway 80. Anyone along Highway 80 in the Fruitvale area and along Highway 19, you need to be in your shelters and get as low as you can Put as many walls in between you and the outside. Find a bathroom or a closet. Those are the best places to be. If you have a bike helmet, things that, anything, you know, pillows, cushions, anything will protect you from that. We're looking at the circulation as shown to us here, and when it stands out like this, you've got this tremendous amount of air rushing toward the radar and away from the radar. That is a very strong circulation coming into Fruitvale. So we don't have a confirmation that a tornado is still on the ground, but we're going to assume that it is. It will not affect Canton. It is done with Canton, but the debris ball still showing up very nicely on the S-band radar. A lot of debris lifted and lofted high into the atmosphere. What you're seeing on the left-hand side there in that box, that's the live picture of the damage along Interstate 20 just to the east of Canton. This is a real-time picture from the S-band radar updating immediately, showing that we're a distance of about a couple of miles to the south of Fruitvale is this potential tornado. Dangerous situation because we've seen that sometimes these long-track supercell thunderstorms can produce long-track tornadoes. This is one of those days where the hail threat seemed high, the tornado threat not so much, and we haven't had a ton of tornadoes, but the ones that we've had have been damage causing. So that's what we have going into Fruitvale and showing up on the S-band radar. Every time you see that kind of lift, what we're doing is looking at the last 30 minutes of progression with this particular storm. Let's zoom out just a little bit, Brian, get a close or get a broader look at this whole line of thunderstorms. And actually, let's if we can, let's go over to David because he's got a great shot over there of what's happening around here. David?
Yeah, Rick, we are looking at the big band of storms. It extends from Kemp and Kaufman to Canton, Edgewood. That's where the really severe weather is showing up down here to the southeast. Notice nothing happening in Dallas and Tarrant County. If you are in Collin County, you may have heard some thunder. There are lightning strikes now north of Frisco, up there towards Prosper and Salina. That's lifting off to the northeast, and these are not expected to be severe. Now, it is possible you could get a little small hail out of some of these, but they are well back into the cool air behind the front. So I'm not concerned. If you hear thunder up here in Collin County, rest easy. The main area of concern is this massive area. Look at all the lightning. These are just tremendous thunderstorms, a very, very unstable atmosphere, and they are not nearly done with it yet. These isolated supercells have been causing the tornadoes off to the east. The line is pushing eastward, so those folks trying to do rescue work and cleanup work in Canton are going to see more and more storms moving in. A lot of people outdoors, and that lightning is going to be a tremendous hazard for the first responders.
And I think what happens perhaps next, David, is that big area of rain as we go deeper into the evening produces very heavy rain across parts of northeast Texas, maybe from Quinlan, Greenville, Sulphur Springs, Cooper, and they're going to have to watch out for flash flooding a little bit later on in the evening. Again, here is Canton looking at nothing in terms of anything severe. As you look to the southwest, you see some rain. There'll be some more rain moving in to the Canton area. Let's go over to Brian. He's got some information. Brian?
Yes, according to some reports that we're getting, apparently all of those vehicles we saw destroyed may be a glimmer of good news with this. That may have been a Dodge and Jeep dealership that's on the east side of Canton along I-20 that may have been damaged significantly, and that's why we were seeing so many vehicles flipped and destroyed in one location.
Okay. The good news there is that maybe a lot of those vehicles did not have anybody inside them.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so. Well, it's kind of the fog of breaking news and breaking weather. Grant is there. He's along I-20.
It's right there. That's where the dealership is.
He said
located.
FM-17 and I-20. And that's where Grant was. And as you know, as that tornado moved through that area, one would assume that there will probably be some cars passing along. Let's hope not. Let's go back to the S-band radar because that tornado is moving in to Fruitvale right now, if indeed there is still a tornado occurring.
If you loop that just a little bit, you'll see that tornado debris signature actually not quite as intense as it was a few minutes ago. See, it does appear to show a little bit of a weakening sign, but it is right over Fruitvale. So if there is still a tornado in it, they are being hit right now in this town of Fruitvale.
And this loop goes about 30 minutes
It's
back.
15
minutes, and it looks like it's crossing I-80 right now. Go ahead and leave it on that last, most recent frame. And again, this is the debris ball. The circulation itself may not match exactly where the debris ball is, but it's close enough that Fruitvale, you need to remain in your tornado shelters, your safe spot at this point, and it will continue to move to the north. It's moving off to the north. It looks like we just updated here. And as David said, the overall look, the intensity of that debris ball has come down just a little bit, but boy, it's still a very pronounced hook echo. Brian, how does it look on the velocities? Looks like this will be lifting north of Highway 80.
And there you go.
And it looks like the circulation is right up here. So the debris ball hangs back just a little bit. Circulation is now north of Highway 80. We have it maybe a mile or so to the east of 19, State Highway 19. So if there is a tornado associated with it, it's going to be in this area. Go ahead, Brian.
Getting confirmation from the Weather Service that a tornado is currently moving through Fruitvale right now, crossing US 80 and continues to move north. Okay, so confirmation this is still producing a tornado. The tornado itself has likely lifted to the north of 80, Highway 80. If you're in Grand Saline, this is going to stay to your west. It's moving north. Now the folks in Emory have to be watching this very carefully. In between Emory and Fruitvale, along Texas Highway 19 may be the future path of this storm. Edgewood, the worst of it is just to your east and will continue to lift off to the north. Very heavy rain in Edgewood, Wills Point, Lake Tawakoni State Park getting some very heavy rain. This particular supercell looks like it will stay to the east of there. So those folks in Emory, make sure you got an eye on the sky and make sure you're prepared. Go ahead and do the things you need to do right now to make sure that as the storm approaches you, you can quickly seek shelter. Dallas, Fort Worth, we don't have any thunderstorms, but in Collin County and Grayson County, we're seeing a few showers, even perhaps back on into Cook and Denton counties. This is not necessarily severe, but it wouldn't surprise me if this cell going up near Sherman and south of Sherman could end up producing a little bit of hail. That is most likely going to be along or just behind the cold front. Let's go to Scott Gordon. He is with some of the folks that were in the path of this storm. Go ahead, Scott.
Rick, we're here on Highway 64 just to the west of Canton. You can see all the flashing lights behind me. They've got the highway shut down right here. We're seeing numerous power lines down, trees uprooted, lots of damage here, windows blown out of houses. We're here with Guadalupe and Shantae, and this is Dudley. You guys were inside your house when this hit. What happened?
It was just loud winds. It got really dark, and just everything was getting thrown at the house.
And Guadalupe, you were saying you were actually outside looking at the tornado when it approached. What did you see?
So like also it was like all dark. It was like a train noise. It was really loud.
Scary.
It was scary.
You guys are okay?
Yeah. Yes.
Is there much damage to your house? Your house is right over here. I see all these tree limbs down. There's power lines here. We have to be very careful, obviously. But your house looks mostly intact here.
Yeah, the house was fine. There's no damage to the house, but a lot of tree branches down, and power lines.
What was it like when it actually hit, when the tornado hit here?
It's hard to explain. It was really loud. But he had us in the hallway, but it was like you could feel the wind coming inside the house. It was bad.
And where were you at the time?
And I was standing at the door, and he told us to run because he was outside looking at it, and then we had to rush into the hospital the hallway, and he had us in the hallway, covering us, but it was really bad.
All right, well, take a deep breath. You guys are okay. Thank goodness. Thank you so much. Be careful of the power lines right there. All right, well, that's the situation here, Rick. We're just starting to get our first views of some of the damage here. Take a look at this tree, just completely uprooted. This is the bottom of the tree. You can see the top of it up there as it crashed into the pole. Quite a scene here, and we're just starting to see the extent of the damage here, Rick.
All right, Scott, thanks. So appreciative that those folks were safe at this point. Do have a new tornado warning. This is going to be southwest of Canton. New tornado warning being issued. Okay, so here's the new one that has just been issued. Here's Canton. All right, so we're going to look in this area for what may be a new developing tornado. This is probably going to be to the south of 243, or maybe this is it. Maybe this could be it right along 243. It looks like it might be.
That's
got to be it.
Pretty close to. It's probably this one right here.
All
However, it's not very definitive.
It looks broad.
Yes, it looks pretty broad at this point, but we'll watch it.
It looks pretty broad, but again, if you're west of Canton, new tornado warning has been issued, and that'll be moving off to the north. Very heavy rain in that area right now. So again, if you're in the path of any storm that is, even if it has a severe thunderstorm warning on it, doesn't have to be a tornado warning. Severe thunderstorm warning, you have to respect those and make sure you seek shelter. David, go ahead.
Yeah, just getting reports in Fruitvale. The emergency manager there says that there was a tornado touchdown in the city of Fruitvale, and the fire department there reporting plywood falling from the sky at FM 779 and US 69. So that's the one north of Canton going up through Fruitvale. If we can pan off to the north there, you can see that did cause significant damage because they have plywood falling from the sky.
And that's the debris ball. Okay, that's the radar seeing all of this debris that is being lofted high into the air, and the radar picks it up. And as David said, some of these pieces are, pieces of plywood. Yes, Brian, go ahead.
Something you said earlier and kind of glossed over, but it's worth noting that the radar is picking this up, and it can't determine whether it's a rain or if it's debris, but it is going to lag a little bit behind the tornado. So the actual tornado itself is probably on the far northern nose of this, so it is going to be a bit farther north from where you see the debris ball.
And that means it's about to move into Rains County. So those of you in Rains, right there is the river, is the boundary between the counties. So that's going to be heading northward up towards Emory, assuming this circulation holds together, and it has been doing so for a good hour and a half.
It's been a long track supercell thunderstorm. We're going to track this off to the north, 6:54 right now. Now coming up at 7, we're going to continue our coverage, but we're going to do it online. So I want you to make sure that you download our NBC DFW app. We're going to stream it right there. We're going to stay live on the web and on our app. This will be and there you see, you can go, and it's free at the App Store. You make sure and download that. That way you can continue to track the severe weather. Now, if you have that and you end up in severe weather, then if you lose power, you still have the ability to be able to see our live stream. This will be affecting Emory at 7:12. So the tornado still chugging along. It is to the south of Emory, will be into the Emory area, 7:10, 7:11, 7:12, right around in there. Give yourself plenty of time to seek shelter. If you have to clean out the closet, do it now. Take the time to do it now so that you can get the family in there and safe. So right now, the worst of the storm has moved to the north of Fruitvale, about ready to move in to Rains County. And again, we'll put the storm track. This would be 7:11 coming into Emory, moving to the north at around 30 miles per hour. Again, that is still, from our last report from the National Weather Service, a confirmed tornado. We have our classic hook echo. What you don't see as much of is the debris ball, and that may be just that it's out over open areas. It's no longer lofting pieces of plywood into the sky, but maybe tree branches, things of that nature. So again, Emory coming in a little bit after 7 o'clock. With the path of that thunderstorm right along and probably just east of Highway 19, and Emory's at the intersection of 19 and 69. This will stay well to the east of East Tawakoni and Lake Tawakoni State Park. Let's head a little farther to the south and look at that new tornado warning that was issued. Again, very heavy rain falling to the west of Canton right now. The tornado passed just on the east side of Canton and lifted across I-20, so rescue operations going on at that point. And they will probably be affected by this. Okay, make sure you download the NBC DFW app. We're going to continue this coverage on our website as well as on the app. We're going to go back to programming here at 7 o'clock. We'll have updates as needed, so stay with NBC5. We'll keep you ahead of the storm. Okay, folks, we are live here on the web. Hopefully you're watching us on the website or our NBC DFW app. If so, thank you very much. It's been a dangerous night for what has ended up being some fairly strong tornadoes, and we still have one that is ongoing to the south of Emory, and another tornado warning to the southwest of Canton. Briefly, let's talk about Dallas and Fort Worth, Brian. We have some showers that are popping up, probably some thunderstorms trying to develop in eastern sections of Dallas County. This will be from Seagoville to eastern sides of Mesquite. The leading edge of the cooler air has pushed across much of Dallas-Fort Worth, and therefore most of the Dallas-Fort Worth area is not at risk for any severe weather. The main risk is going to be farther to the east, where conditions are more favorable for the development of thunderstorms, and that's what we have going on right now. But right now, just brand new development near Seagoville, and then just to the east of Mesquite, approaching Heath and Rockwall. Nothing severe in this right now. As you go a little farther to the east, Brian, you'll see that the thunderstorms do get a little stronger from Lake Tawakoni State Park south towards Wills Point. That extends up to Point and Emory. And do we have, this looks like a tornado warning here, Brian. Is that that's for this one right here?
Warning for the one that is crossing over from Fruitvale and northern parts of Van Zandt County into southern Rains County.
So it's crossing the river right now. So it's still to the south of Emory, and the folks in the Emory area need to be taking your tornado precautions as this storm does approach and will likely be affecting you after 7 o'clock. We think we have it down to around 7:10, 7:12, right around in there. The last 15 minutes of motion show that storm lifting to the north, maintaining that classic hook echo. Okay, looks like a 6, and that's what we are seeing with that particular storm. There's the circulation just to the south of Emory, right along and just to the east of Texas Highway 19. Our other warning that we have to the southwest of Canton, here's Canton. Okay, and David, let's show. Okay. This is Highway 80 near Grand Saline. This was from Storm Tracker Sam Barraclough, and that is near the Grand Saline area. And that tornado passed west of Grand Saline. David, correct?
Yeah, that was, we need to double check with Sam on his exact location.
We think he's
west
west
of Grand Saline. This may be the Fruitvale tornado.
But that is a live picture, so you're seeing it as we are seeing it. I can't tell if off to the right, if there's perhaps a structure that was damaged. But that storm is farther to the north. Brian, what do you have?
Getting some information about some of the damage that took place may have included a fatality in one of the vehicles as well.
And when we get that verified, we'll pass that along. We get a lot of information. Let's go over to David Finfrock, because he's kind of got the big picture here. You'll be able to see what is happening.
Yeah, there is still a tornado watch in effect until 10 p.m. in all of this red shaded area. Notice that goes from Paris all the way down south of Palestine. It does not include Dallas, Tarrant, Denton, or Collin counties. All of the severe storms are going to stay east of us. And another little bit of good news, that solid line of severe thunderstorm warnings that earlier extended from Fort Smith, Arkansas, all the way down to Corsicana, most of those severe thunderstorm warnings have been allowed to expire. There are still a few up here in Oklahoma, one tornado warning east of McAllister, but the main concern is this one supercell here. There's actually been a cluster of them moving south to north, and those have been producing the tornadoes. Elsewhere, the storms have generally dropped below severe levels at the present time, but we do still have tornado warnings out in parts of western and northern Van Zandt County and just about all of Rains County. The biggest concern is that storm that moved north of Fruitvale, the same one that caused the tornado damage in Canton, widespread damage there on the east side of town, then moved up through Fruitvale, where we were getting reports of plywood falling from the sky. Now that's on a collision course with Rains County, heading right up towards Emory at the present time. We don't have confirmation that there is, at the moment, a tornado on the ground, but we should assume it is there because this storm has had a history of long track tornadoes. Let's get back over to Rick with, again, a closer look at those storms.
And we continue to kind of analyze what is happening. These are definitely the strongest thunderstorms that we have from just west of Cedar Creek Lake. Two different tornado warnings, all right? The one from northwest of Grand Saline is the one approaching Emory. You can still see the hook on that right here. You see that? Okay. And so now it looks like it's a little farther to the east of Texas 19 and moving off to the north.
Truck.
This is live, guys. We're getting this live.
Get back in the
This is Highway 80. Okay, this is where the tornado crossed Highway 80. That is live pictures. And folks, sometimes we don't have good conversation with our crews in the field, and so they may not know that they're on live. But that'll give you an idea. It showed an 18-wheeler turned over. We'll get back to that as soon as we can. But again, if you live in Emory or the outside areas, surrounding areas of Emory, take your tornado precautions. Get in that closet. Get in the bathroom. All right. We heard from the National Weather Service there was a tornado still occurring in this area, and we still have the hook echo, the S-band radar showing it. This will be affecting Emory in about less than 5 minutes. Let's go 7:07. Especially if you live just to the east of Emory, get as low as you can and take as many precautions as you can until this passes on through your area. And there's going to be a lot of heavy rain. You may not see any tornado coming, so don't waste time trying to find it. Just seek that shelter right now. Get as low as you can and put those walls around you, as many as you can, and protect yourself with pillows and cushions, things like that. Don't panic. Get through this, and we'll continue to watch this particular cell. Again, this has been a long track supercell thunderstorm. When you get a chance, Brian, let's shoot a little farther southwest. Let's check out that other tornado warning. That one was west of Canton, and this one maybe a little more difficult to find. Right now, the rain is not falling terribly hard in Canton. They did have that tornado that passed just on the east side of Canton. I suspect it might be something in here.
There might be.
Or there's at least some strong winds in there.
There's definitely some strong winds, and these would be coming around. There might be a little bit of a rotation here along 243, but most of this appears to be more in the straight line direction.
David, you have an update on the storm that's coming into Emory.
Yeah, we're just taking a closer look at that, looking at the velocity displays and the motion around this storm. 67 miles per hour, one direction, what we call gate to gate shear, where we check two boxes side by side. 67 miles per hour in one direction, 62 miles per hour in the other, coming back towards the radar. So more than 120, 130 miles per hour shear in that area. One thing we have to be cautious about is that this is a good distance from the radar, so we're not really seeing what's happening right at ground level. We're seeing higher up into the storm. So no clear signal that that is what is happening at the ground, but certainly there is still a lot of very strong rotation. And there you can see it. I'll loop this, and you can see the motion moving right up there on the east side of Emory, pushing up towards Highway 69 at the present time. So those of you in Emory and just on the east side, as Rick has been pointing out, you should be undercover now. This is still a very, very dangerous situation.
Yeah, that's an impressive circulation. And as David said, it may not be right at the surface because the radar beam increases with height as it gets farther away from the radar site. But even at the mid-levels of that storm, having that rotation would be very impressive. A lot of lightning with these thunderstorms, as you can see. These storms are really electrified and producing a lot of rain as well. And what we believe is going to happen is that as we go deeper into the evening and as the severe weather threat wanes, perhaps even overnight, we're going to see areas that are going to see quite a bit of rain and perhaps some flash flood potential. Watching carefully the storms that are continuing to intensify, or at least the rain from Forney down to just to the north of Seagoville. We've got some showers south of Mesquite, just to the north of the Trinity River Audubon Center. Looks like a cell going up east of Garland. Some showers around White Rock Lake. I would not rule out continued showers. Yes, we've had the cold front come through. Many of us are in the 50s right now. In fact, Brian, if you'll back out and even show Tarrant County, the cold front is through, but David, we still have the potential for more spotty showers behind that.
Yeah, showers and, yes, thunderstorms as well. I'm not expecting severe weather locally, but we are seeing some lightning strikes over here south of Rockwall down towards McClendon, Chisholm, and Heath, and just east of Mesquite on over towards Forney. We're getting some lightning strikes, some new ones developing down here near Seagoville. So we are seeing some lightning and thunder. You may hear thunder here in the Dallas area. Don't be alarmed that it's going to be tornadoes. That's not going to be happening here. We are well into that cool air mass, and the storm system pushing onto the east, this really severe threat, is way over here again in Van Zant and Rains County at the present time. In fact, I'm going to call up another graphic I haven't looked at in a little while, and that's to show you the temperatures across the area. This is a little bit dated on the frontal position. It's actually pushed eastward now. I haven't updated that in the last half hour. So the front is continuing to work eastward, but look at these temperatures. We were 91 degrees at 3 o'clock this afternoon. DFW is now 61, a 30-degree temperature drop since 3 o'clock this afternoon. It's in the 50s across Fort Worth with the clouds thinning out, but the storms will still develop. We've got an upper level disturbance that's going to be swinging through the area. So we do anticipate more rain, more showers, and some thunder from time to time as we go through the evening. But the severe weather threat will all be farther to the east. So let's take a closer look again at those really severe storms in the eastern portions of our viewing area.
Okay,
Rick?
David, that pesky and hopefully not deadly storm, but it continues. We're getting reports now out of Emory of damage and debris being generated. So the circulation is crossing Highway 69 right now, very close just to the southeast of Emory, crossing 69, and it's where basically from 69 through FM 515 and FM 799, all within that area. Thunder Truck is just south of Emory right now. So that's the supercell that is causing the problems. You see that through their front camera at this point. But again, reports of debris in and around or close to Emory. My guess would be to the southeast of Emory, but we will see. Just kind of unclear at this point. We don't have the well-developed hook, but what's left, it's like the hook has been kind of wrapped back into the storm, which is a very normal occurrence when these supercells go through a cycle. But if there is the debris, it's going to be this right along Highway 69, and this is to the southeast of Emory. And so if you live along Lake Fork Drive, FM 515, FM 799, if you're in that area, then chances are you've got the dangerous portion of the storm right on top of you. And those of you that are watching us in that area need to be making sure you're taking your tornado precautions as that storm lifts off to the north. Brian, let's what is north of here? So we're into Rains, southern Rains County, or central Rains County, and then it's going to be headed farther to the north. Now, you folks in Sulphur Springs, a lot of these thunderstorms are kind of headed in your direction. I want you to, yes, David.
The emergency manager's office in Emory says that they just lost all power there. So obviously we are getting damage there in the town of Emory. So that is tracking off towards the north and northeast. So those of you up in Hopkins County may very well see a tornado warning fairly soon if that circulation holds together. Certainly, it is still a dangerous storm. Whether or not we have a tornado warning with it at the moment, we're not sure.
Right.
But we know as it went through Emory, we have had more damage. At the very least, power lines are down because they say they lost all power in the city of Emory.
And the folks downstream from this, Sulphur Springs, you may want to make sure that you are taking your tornado precautions or prepared to take tornado precautions. There's no tornado warning for Sulphur Springs, but now's the time to make sure, okay, do my flashlights have their batteries? Do I have a way of receiving the warning? Is the closet cleaned out? Do we have the dogs and the cats inside? That kind of thing. So just kind of keep an eye on this.
Bit of good news
Yes,
here,
go ahead.
Rick. That storm in western Van Zandt County that we've been watching, the tornado warning there has been allowed. Well, actually, they canceled it earlier. That one is really losing all of the significant rotation with it. And
I believe we're going to do a TV cut in, Brian. Let's zoom out. Folks, we're going to hang with us. We're going to do a TV cut in here in just a bit. So you don't have to do anything. Just stay there.
Comes with HBO included at no extra charge.
At Planters, we put fresh roasted flavor into every can, which has its drawbacks. Guys, know anything about this missing inventory?
All right, folks, you're watching video of a tornado that crossed very close to Canton a little earlier this evening. This was from the thunder truck. This is not occurring right now. However, the storm that did produce that tornado is still producing damage. The latest information in from Emory, Texas, was that the storm is continuing. Look at this damage near Canton. This would be on the east side along I-20, and this is video from the Texas Thunder Truck. We do know that a car dealership on the east side was hit. The tornado did cross I-20, and those storms continue to move off to the north. Here's the S-band radar, and it is live. You'll be able to see all of the thunderstorms. I want to point out that Tarrant, Dallas, Denton, Collin counties, no severe weather. Yes, we have some showers that are popping up. Heavier shower to the north of McKinney, northwest of Frisco. These are not severe. All of the severe weather, Brian, shift a little bit off to the east. All of the severe weather is right here. Tornado warning remains in effect for the Emory area. We're going to continue our live coverage on these storms on the web. Okay, so make sure you have our NBC DFW app. Make sure that's downloaded. You can watch the live streaming coverage on that or our website. Okay, folks, we're back, and again, seeing a lot of showers and storms off to the north. Dallas-Fort Worth area getting some rain on the east side of Dallas. Collin County has a little bit of rain from Plano, McKinney, over through Denton County. Tarrant County not getting anything right now.
Just east of Dallas, you may point out they're east of Mesquite.
Forney.
That's where we've got Forney. They have had some half-inch hail. So, dime-size hail is 3/4 of an inch. This is smaller than that. Yeah. So it's not capable of doing damage. It's non-severe, but we are getting some reports of lightning. If we put the lightning on there, you can see there is a little in that area coming in through Forney and into Rockwall. But you may get a little small hail out of this. We're not expecting the severe storms.
Kind of looks like the hail core is actually, when it passed through Forney, it did its deal, but it's headed towards McClendon Chisholm right now. And as David said, this may be a little bit of small hail to east of Lake Ray Hubbard, right along 30, Northwest Drive, Interstate 30. So not anticipating any severe weather there. And we have a bunch of video to show you. Let's start with the Canton tornado that was earlier. And this was captured live. We were talking to Grant at about 6:18, about an hour ago. And you can hear Grant's voice in the background. Look at that. That is, look at the debris. You got the stuff in the background going one direction. You got stuff in the foreground going another direction. David said at one point the damage path may be half mile wide. And look how long it took to cross. I believe that was 11? 19? State Highway 19. Okay, so this is a video of some of the damage in that area. When I start to see trees shredded like that, you know it was a strong tornado. Now, there was a car dealership, or there is a car dealership along I-20 on the east side of Canton that was hit. So that we're seeing a lot of cars. Now, that's I-20. And so we don't know if there were any actual vehicles that were on I-20 that were blown out, or if that was from the dealership.
That looks kind of like a part of an old showroom there, or part of the dealership.
Yeah.
And I got an email from our assignment desk. They made a call to the Van Zandt County Sheriff's Office, and the quote was, "We have a lot of injuries, a lot of damage. Got to go." And that was the summary of the conversation. So they are still very much in assessment mode right now.
And the storm that produced that, here's Canton.
Just got a new tornado warning there. If you'll point it out there, go down south of Canton. Once again, Van Zandt County, tornado warning for eastern Kaufman and Van Zandt counties. They say increasing circulation near Maybank. So you can see it. That's the one we were watching earlier. It kind of weakened, but now it's picking up in strength once again.
And this is very close to Purtis Creek State Park. I think I've said that name more than I ever have, David. They're just in that area. And this is to the southwest of Falba.
And originally the Weather Service said they thought they would issue for southeastern Kaufman County. They elected not to do that because the circulation is just moving up into Van Zandt County.
So it is just western Van Zandt. The warning does extend as far northwest as the Canton area. Now the circulation on here it's there. It's not as well developed or as tight as some of the circulations we've seen, but it is a spinning motion within the atmosphere right over Texas 198 in between Maybank and Purtis Creek State Park, southwest of Falba. If you're in Falba, go ahead and make sure that as that storm gets close to you, you do the things that need to be done to make you safe. Basically, get as low as you can, put as many walls in between you and the outside as possible as this thunderstorm moves off to the northeast. Let's put a storm track on it, and I think that's what Brian is going to do. And again, I'm sure the folks in Canton are a little on edge right now, and I don't blame you given what you've had. I believe you've had a couple of different storms cause damage in your area. This will affect Falba at 7:24 and Canton at 7:47. And that would take it on a northeast path. It might be northeast, it might be a little more north, but the bottom line is this will be an increasingly dangerous storm if this circulation continues to develop and tighten up. Basically, nonstop heavy rain from Cedar Creek over through Gun Barrel City, just to the east of Kemp. Along 243, there's I-20, and there's US Highway 80 to the west of Grand Saline. Probably a good amount of rain falling in those areas, and we may have to be concerned with some flash flooding as time goes on. But right now, the tornado warning, Brian, is there still the tornado warning in effect farther to the north as well?
Yes, they would. Just
extending it up into Hopkins County.
And Brian just put on the lightning. Wow, it's a lightning show there, my friends. A lot of lightning with that from Maybank up through Edgewood. And those of you watching in Sulphur Springs and thinking, uh-oh, this thing is headed our direction, the circulation that came through Emory right there does not appear to be as well developed, at least from a reflectivity standpoint. But still,
we have to be cautious because we're looking farther and farther from the storm. So we're not really seeing what's happening down near ground level.
This is Highway 80. This is Highway 80 near Grand Saline, and Sam Barraclough showing This is, we saw an overturned truck here. We saw an overturned truck here. Rescues are underway at this point. So this is near Grand Saline, Highway 80, and that is our storm tracker, Sam Barraclough, who is monitoring the situation.
There's another storm tracker down in the Maybank area saying he's seeing power flashes right now.
Okay.
So that's that storm moving into southwestern portions of Van Zant County. They're saying from his vantage point there near Maybank, he is seeing power flashes.
Okay, let's go back to the S-band radar. And
one of the things, Rick, I wanted to point out is just to the west of Yantis, as I've been looping this the last couple of times, I noticed that I see the circulation initially, you see it move and kind of flow into the storm, and then it kind of noses back out just a little bit the last couple of frames right in there. And that's, I'm going to stop it right here. That appears to be where the circulation is right about there. It's not nearly as defined as what it was before, but it still seems to be there.
And again, if a warning is issued for your area, you do the appropriate things to stay safe, and that's going to be to follow those tornado precautions. And how far deep up north? So this is a new warning then. They've issued a tornado warning for the Sulphur Springs.
For Hopkins County.
For Hopkins County. And we have the circulation just to the west of Yantis and moving off to the north. So folks in Sulphur Springs, we showed you, we said that this is probably coming in your direction. No need to panic. Just make sure that you find an interior room on the lowest level, get away from windows, and just kind of hunker down and let this thing pass on through. This warning goes in effect or stays in effect until 8:15, Hopkins County tornado warning. And that would include areas south of Sulphur Springs, even to the north of Sulphur Springs. And David, looks like you have that area of rotation.
Yeah, this is that storm down. You know, we had a spotter down there near the Maybank area saying he could see power flashes. Now, we don't know if that was a tornado or if it was just straight line winds, but something was causing lines to arc, maybe power lines to come down. We certainly still see a strong circulation there just on the north side of Purtis Creek State Park, moving generally in the direction of Falba. Kind of showing a little more of a movement to the east. So we're hopeful that maybe this one will stay south of Canton, but certainly a tornado warning still in effect for much of Van Zant County at the present time.
David, do you know how long that the tornado watch is in effect?
The tornado watch runs until 10 o'clock this evening.
In 10 o'clock, okay.
And that's for all of the area east of Dallas.
Okay.
And admittedly, the westernmost portions of that watch area, the threat will end much earlier than 10 o'clock. Farther to the east, it'll last longer.
Brian's going to attempt to get the watch up here in a second.
I'm going to put this is an image of some of the damage that was done at the dealership.
Let me step out of the way. If you go ahead and make it bigger if you want to.
Let me see if I can increase the size on that a little bit and make it full size here.
And while he's doing that, well, again, tornado warning in effect for Hopkins County, Sulphur Springs under that tornado warning. And what we're trying to do here is get some of the damage pictures. Now, is this from that actual car dealership?
Yes, so this would be from that car dealership. That's
a mess.
That's definitely a mess.
You can see the trees toppled over, indistinguishable.
Over there.
Yeah. When you start seeing vehicles that have been tossed, you know you're talking about some fairly intense velocities associated with that storm. All right, so let's kind of reset here, Brian, with these supercells where we have them. 3 different tornado warnings in effect right now, and one of them is probably going to go away. This one south of Hopkins County. We do have showers developing in Dallas County, portions of Denton and Collin County. These are not severe. Now, they may pulse up and produce some small hail. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility, as David has pointed out. You'll get some downpours out of this, but not necessarily like the storms we have to the east. David has a cool graphic that he wants to show.
Yeah, this is just a slice of that storm coming up through Van Zant County right now. We're looking at it in 3-dimensional. I know you're not used to seeing it that way, but it shows the height of the storm, and it goes up over 60,000 feet. Remember that when you're in a jet aircraft, typically you're going to be flying between 35 and 40,000. So this is way up above that. Huge storms, tremendous updrafts within them. So they are powerful storms capable of large hail as well as the tornadoes. Now, I really haven't seen very many hail reports as yet. I think these are certainly capable of doing that, but so far people have been concentrating on the tornadoes with good reason.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a cool graphic there to show how these thunderstorms can tower so high into the atmosphere, 50, 60, sometimes even 70,000 feet. We're not going to see any thunderstorms quite that big in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, mainly just some showers. And Brian continues to get some pictures in. We have crews on the scene as well. Go ahead, Brian.
That shot in particular is from Grant.
Oh, that's from Grant.
Yep. Okay,
Grant Johnston in the Texas Thunder truck. And we have, this is from Emory. And who is this? One of our crews in the area, and they're driving through Emory. We're all kind of getting a drink of water here, folks, so you're watching it as we're watching it. A lot of lightning. They're going to maybe take a little shelter there under that awning. What I haven't seen, David, as I watched that, at least not any damage in that particular shot, but you said that they had recorded some damage that in and around the Emory area. Is that right?
Yeah, certainly in Fruitvale was the last place. And in Emory, we know the power is out in town. I don't know how much damage there has been, but we do know at least power lines going into and out of Emory have come down, because the emergency manager officers there said that they were without power in the entire city of Emory. A few minutes ago, I showed you that 60,000-foot storm down here to the west of Canton. Let me show you what we've got here just in the Rockwall County area. If we do the same kind of analysis, look at the height of that, and yeah, see, 35, 40,000 feet. This is not nearly as big. It's not going to be severe. So that's one of the reasons we look at these. You can see the biggest storms, how they stand out above all of the others. In the cool air mass that we are in back here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, we're not going to get anything severe. It is still possible there could be a little small hail out of some of these cells that develop in our area in the evening and overnight. But all of the severe storms are going to be well to the east of Dallas. So Dallas, Collin, Denton, Tarrant counties, and anyone to the west, you can breathe easy, no severe weather threat. If you're east of Dallas, keep watching, because it's still going to be a concern. Rick.
All right, David, and that is true. I think, we've got an upper level low pressure system that has yet to move through, and that can be enough to generate some of the storms behind this main line of thunderstorms. Just a broad view here. All right, and can you throw on that tornado watch, Brian?
Yep.
That covers an area east of Dallas. Okay, so you see the red area here. It does go from Kaufman County on to the east. Got a couple of tornado warnings, severe thunderstorm warning, a couple of flash flood warnings. And the thunder truck is somewhere in that mess.
Ping pong ball sized hail. It's 2-inch diameter hail, so bigger than golf balls.
And where was that?
Emory.
In Emory. This is in Wood County. This is to the east.
Okay, thunder truck right now is near Alba on US 69, so they're farther east.
Near Emory, southeast of Emory at this point on Highway 69. So you can see some of the rain that they are driving through, not getting any hail. A lot of lightning. Got the lightning. And once again, David, you said the hail was where?
In Emory, we had
Emory.
some ping pong ball sized hail, so that's 2 inches in diameter.
Not really seeing much in the way of damage along this particular path, and that's good. That's a good thing. All right, let's go back to the S-band radar. This is the very big, broad view. Remember I said that we have a kind of an upper low pressure system. You see it spinning here? See all that big spin? That's going to be lifting off to the northeast, and that may be enough to trigger some showers. You see the white and the blue in the Texas Panhandle back into New Mexico, Colorado? That's snow, my friends. Temperatures are in the 30s out there. So anytime you have severe weather of the magnitude that we're getting, chances are you've got a pretty strong storm system, and that storm system is strong enough, in this case anyway, to produce produce snow in the Texas Panhandle and points west. There are the thunderstorms. And again, for Dallas and Fort Worth, we're not worried about severe weather. Brian, let's start at Sulphur Springs and work our way down. Throw on the warnings if you would. We still have a tornado warning in effect for Hopkins County. Okay, here is Emory. Sulphur Springs, you got this heavy rain coming in. Emory is right here, and that's where the thunder truck is. Grant Johnston is talking to us. Grant, we see that you're in quite a bit of heavy rain at this point.
Yeah, that's right, Rick. We just passed Alba here on 69, and we are heading toward Emory. It looks like they just reissued a severe thunderstorm warning on that storm in Emory, and posted a tornado warning farther east into Wood County for western sections of Wood County. But this storm, as you said, has a history of rotation. It certainly has heavy rain. We have not encountered the hail yet. We're kind of getting back into it. But it is definitely a force to reckon with here in Rains County. And once again, we are between Alba and Emory. We're going to see if we can locate some of that circulation, and also we'll be on the lookout for some damage as well. But I can tell you the worst of it, of course, was the damage that we encountered earlier to the east of Canton on I-20. And the tornado itself, Rick, was a wedge tornado. It was large, as I'm sure you've seen pictures by now.
Yeah, it just by looking at when you were live with it, Grant, the time that it took to cross that highway that you were on was just incredible. Okay, we're going to do a TV cut in here, so if you're watching on the web, just hang on. All right, folks, quick update here. This is some of the damage video we're getting east of the Dallas area. This is in Van Zandt County, Highway 80 near Grand Saline. Tractor trailer rig overturned in what could be a tornado that occurred in that area. We also have damage that took place near the Canton area. Just got off the phone with Grant Johnson. He's in the thunder truck. He said it was a wedge tornado, very large tornado. A lot of action still going on. Now, for Tarrant County, Dallas County, Denton, Collin County, we do have some showers out there, but nothing severe. I anticipate no severe weather. Plano, you have some heavier rain moving in, a couple of heavier showers around Denton, and in Dallas County, a few downpours, maybe even enough to produce some very, very small hail. But the really nasty stuff is still ongoing from south of Canton. Got one tornado warning there. Here's Grand Saline. Emory has had some severe weather. Sulphur Springs, let's focus in on you because we have an area of circulation that we're watching just to the south of Sulphur Springs. Tornado warning continues in Sulphur Springs. That is circulation, my friends, and you need to be in your tornado area, your precautions, taking your tornado precautions, get as low as you can and put as many walls in between you and the outside. All right, stay away from windows. Don't be panicking. This is moving on into the Sulphur Springs area. No confirmation of a tornado, but this circulation is strong. We're going to continue this on the website as well as our NBC5 app. Okay, so stay with NBC5. We'll keep you ahead of the storms. Okay, we're back with you. And for those of you that have taken the time to download the app and are watching on the app, we appreciate that. If you're watching on the website, that's great. Make sure you have the app, though, because that's really comes in handy if you were ever to lose power. All right, so we have the tornado warnings. Let's talk about this. Here's Canton. The area of concern now is to the east of Falba. So this is one tornado warning. It looks like the circulation got a little bit of a hook there to the west of Highway 19 and east of Falba, and that is moving in which direction, Brian? It looks like it'll be off to the north. There's the circulation as shown to us. Again, the green colors are going towards the radar. The red colors are going away from the radar. So we can tell that there's a rotation in there. There is a spinning going on. And that's what is so cool about a Doppler radar, because it can tell which directions the raindrops are going. And that's how we can tell that this is...
With the reflectivity, you can see how they have that circulation. It continues to curl around there. And that's the good news is it's south of Canton. The bad news is there's still a lot of reflectivity, a lot of heavy rain, maybe some hail. There might be a hail core just west of Canton. That may actually also impact. I mean, they're trying to do some cleanup.
Right, absolutely.
They're still trying to even probably help some people. And now you have another storm coming
Brian,
in.
throw the lightning on there. That's another real hazard for all those first responders. Look
look at that.
You don't want to be outside in this, and you know they are trying to help other people. So that is a real concern. The good news that on that storm down there near Falba, though, if you look at the motion of it, it's not coming directly towards Canton. It seems to be moving a little more to the northeast or east-northeast. So I think that's going to stay south of Canton.
Yeah, you can see, almost in an easterly fashion. But still, this whole area might be moving to the east, which will take it into and across that Canton area. But that's why there's a tornado warning in effect for Van Zant County to the south of Canton. And the area is lifting, off to the east-northeast. Look like it might be a little bit of a hail core here west of Canton, crossing I-20. So, Brian, if you would, how about let's maybe put a storm. Oh, David's got some information. Go ahead, David.
Yeah, I was just going to point out the big picture across the rest of the area. Haven't done that in a little while. So if you come back here to the expert desk, you'll see that we do still have a tornado watch east of the Dallas area. It does not include Dallas, Tarrant, Denton, Collin counties, or anyone to the west. But if you're east of Dallas, still a tornado watch until 10 p.m. Notice a new severe thunderstorm watch has been posted extending farther to the south, all the way down through the Austin, San Antonio areas. And you can see that line of storms developing into a solid squall line. That's going to mean more outflow-based storms, ones that are going to produce some damaging wind gusts, but a lower tornado threat, and that's why we do not have a tornado watch down here. The main concern for the tornadoes were those isolated cells, the supercells that formed out ahead of the cold front. As the cold front advances eastward, we're going to see this congeal into a solid squall line. That's going to be moving through, as we pointed out, right across Canton again. You're going to see more storms. You may see some hail, dangerous lightning in the next 30 minutes or so. But the tornado threat is going to be going down, except for those cells right on the leading edge. Now, let me point you back in the opposite direction. From the Dallas-Fort Worth area, we've got a few isolated showers and thunderstorms, but nothing severe. I don't expect it to be severe. The upper level low is spinning in from the west, and notice this band of showers. We will very likely have to deal with that later tonight, maybe during the middle of the night, 2, 3 in the morning, that may come through. So don't be surprised if you hear a rumble of thunder or get a rain shower. Could even be some little pea-sized hail with some of those as they move through overnight, but they will be below severe levels. And back here in the Panhandle, that is snow coming down. Still a winter storm warning up towards Dalhart. It was, just your typical Texas day. 101 degrees in Laredo this afternoon. At the same time, it was 34 in Dalhart. That's Texas for you, Rick.
And here in the DFW area, I think we hit 91 with a ton of humidity. Here's Grant Johnston near Emory. Looks like he is in a big old downpour. Is he available to talk, Eric? Yeah. Grant, what are you seeing? What are you hearing on that end? Well, maybe. It looks like his cell service is not that great at this point. We'll continue to check back with him. But yes, David.
Maria Guerrero, one of our reporters, is also on her way into Canton. She's just west of Canton and says pea-sized hail
Okay.
Cars are on the side of the road, lots of lightning. So a lot of people just pulling over because of the dangerous driving conditions. It's the same in Canton, as you can see up here with the thunder truck. So very difficult driving conditions. You don't want to be in the road in the middle of this. The good news is if you wait another hour, the worst of these storms should be east of Canton, and the driving is going to get a lot easier.
You know, what I've noticed as we look at Grant's shot, and I'm kind of looking at David's radar view here, at times, this is another view from Emory, the rain coming down. All of these storms now sort of have an eastward push to them, David, as opposed to the individual cells just moving to the north.
It's starting to merge more into that squall line, and that's why I think the tornado threat is going to be going down in the coming hours. Right there on the leading edge there, southeast of Sulphur Springs, and also that one down there near Falba, there's still the potential for an incipient tornado, though the circulation maybe not quite as tight as it was earlier. It's still pretty impressive.
And looking at what the National Weather Service is saying, they don't have any reports of a tornado occurring with this system, but it's one of those where it's in that gray area, folks. You know, there may not be anything, but there could. And I'm not saying that to try to scare anybody. It's just stay in your storm shelters, all right? If nothing happens, then nothing happens. Go ahead, Brian.
They're going to go ahead and issue a severe thunderstorm warning for southeast Hopkins, mainly for the wind threat that goes along with this. And as I pull out the edge
hold on,
of the...
just 1 second. 1 second, Brian. We're going to go on TV really quickly. Hold on. And folks, hang with us. Here's a quick radar update. Severe thunderstorm warning in effect. Folks, in Sulphur Springs, you've got a line of nasty thunderstorms coming through there. Still a tornado warning in effect for that area. You'll notice nothing is happening in Tarrant County. We do have some showers that have popped up in Dallas County. These are non-severe, although they are capable of producing some lightning and some very small hail, okay, pea size or less in that hail, but again, very sporadic. We will not have any widespread severe weather. We're behind the cold front. Where it is coming down is from Sulphur Springs. Folks, in the Sulphur Springs area, we do have a circulation that is just to the southeast. That is the thunder truck in Emory. That's south of the Sulphur Springs area, but that'll give you an idea of just how hard that rain is coming down. Lots of lightning and thunder. Again, in Hopkins County, tornado warning remains in effect. So if you're watching us in the Sulphur Springs area, make sure you stay in your shelters until that warning expires, until this line of thunderstorms moves on through. Another big batch of rain coming into Canton. They've already suffered a tornado or two and some big hail, perhaps up to near baseball size hail to the west of Canton. This is all moving northeast. We're going to continue our live coverage on the web and on our app. Okay, Brian, you were talking about some big hail.
Yeah, talking about the hail core that is west of Canton. Get some estimates, potential estimates in the center of this that could be larger than golf ball, probably smaller than baseball size hail. So you might be kind of in that racquetball to tennis ball size hail that would be on the west and northwest sides of Canton. And it's kind of lining out a little bit more. It's not just a pocket, but it's more of a line that goes with this in terms of the hail core being more north and south. And overall, the tornado threat is a little bit lower up around Sulphur Springs. So the next warning you see with this is going to be a severe thunderstorm warning up in Hopkins County. And also, as I was mentioning before we went to the break, on the TV side was the fact that the strong winds, you see these yellow areas, that's coming out of that thunderstorm. That's more of that strong straight line wind. Yeah. So those winds could be easily in excess of 70 and possibly close to 80 miles an hour coming out of that.
And that would be approaching or perhaps crossing Texas Highway 11. And we may see some strong winds in Sulphur Springs or just to the south of it. You can see the movement is to the northeast, so it's going to be headed towards Mount Vernon, Winnsboro. Equipment has some heavy rain. The heavy rain, we've been showing shots around the Emory area from Thunder Truck and other chase crews that we have in the area. Let's get the latest on the circulation southwest of Canton. And it, go ahead, yes, Dave.
Here just real quickly, in Canton itself, we're getting word that they're setting up Triage Center at the Canton High School.
Okay.
So there have evidently been enough injuries that they have to deal with it that way.
All right, this is one of our crews in and around Canton, or very close to it. I don't believe they are in Canton, but you can see that it's a very angry looking sky. And as we go back to the S-band radar, the thunderstorms are moving back in to the Canton area. Here is Canton. Brian talked about the hail core just west, and we have the circulation to the south as well. So looks like perhaps the potential for some larger hail. As he said, larger than golf ball size hail wouldn't surprise us. The hail core is kind of elongated from Edgewood down to just west of Canton. Right along Texas Highway 19, let's look at that circulation, Brian. They still have the tornado warning in effect, and it's almost moving, like you mentioned earlier, toward the east. We're kind of on the edge of the viewing area here, or the radar, but you can see a circulation just right along Texas 19, south of Canton, and moving in an easterly direction. So it's better than if it was moving into the Canton area, but they're going to have enough problems just with the rain and probably some hail out of this as well. So that's the S-band radar showing that the circulation is now to the east of 19. Back out just a little bit. I like how you put the lightning on there. A lot of lightning coming into Canton and around the Canton area. As David said, they're setting up kind of a triage area at the high school, David? I think at the high school.
High school. And also we're just getting reports in Rains County. That's up in the Emory. I'm not sure if this is in Emory or in a rural area nearby, but they say they did take a heavy hit there. The EM office says several homes were destroyed near Highway 69 and FM 779. So that gives us a good fix. If you go back up to the Emory area and look, Highway 69 and FM 779, they say search and rescue is underway there in Rains County. That's 69, not far from Emory. Zoom in a little bit more, see if we can see 779. There it is.
Right here.
Yeah, coming in from the south. So in that area, remember earlier it looked like the worst of it was just to the east of the city of Emory. So we do know a couple of homes destroyed there, search and rescue underway.
Always sad to hear that, but we hope that folks have been prepared. We hope that, through the week that you are taking the situation seriously with the threat of severe weather. Just because it didn't happen in Dallas and Fort Worth doesn't mean it didn't happen. And of course it has been taking place to the east of there.
That's that circulation right there. That's where it crossed over. I'm going back in time a little bit. This is at 7:10. This is 7:11. This is 7:12. This is 7:13. So you can see how it crossed right over.
Yeah. Right at that area. Okay, we'll Brian, zoom in. That is to the southeast of Emory, and that's in Rains County. Go ahead, David.
Another news report coming in from Canton. This is a really sad situation. They say a man has been found in a pasture near Canton and has been taken to a local hospital. His condition is unknown, but evidently he was thrown some distance.
Perhaps. I think we're going to, we could see that. The story is still unfolding as to, what happened as that storm crossed I-20. And again, this is some of the damage on the east side of Canton. We believe this is along I-20, and not 100% sure if it's the car dealership there, but as we have reporters converging in the area, and we'll get more information. All right, let's back out again. But right now, Emory's still getting that very heavy rain down through, there's Canton, and extending to the south. Not really concerned about the showers up in the Sherman and Denison areas. Same thing in Dallas County, just some showery weather. Occasionally, we'll get a little bit of lightning, and you may even see a little bit of very small hail. David reported some half-inch hail. That's not even considered severe hail. We're going to do a TV report, so stay with us. Just hang with us. All right, let's get a weather update for you. S-band radar showing a few showers in Dallas and Collin counties. Nothing severe there. Let's check out, okay, you see this, nothing happening here. Let's head farther to the north. Sulphur Springs, you have a severe thunderstorm that's moving through your area. It appears that when this tornado warning expires, it'll reissue with a severe thunderstorm warning. Circulation is just to the east of Sulphur Springs at this point. Very heavy rain, could be some quarter-size hail with this as well from Sulphur Springs, then very heavy rain through Como, down through Yantis. Reports of damage have occurred in and around the Emory area, especially just off to the southeast of the Emory area, showing what is likely some strong winds coming out of the thunderstorm cluster east of Sulphur Springs down through Como. We could have winds in excess of 60 miles per hour. The Canton area, hit by a tornado earlier, has new thunderstorms that are moving into the area, perhaps some large hail. There is a circulation south of Canton that is moving to the east. Like we've been doing all night, we're going to continue this coverage wall to wall on the web as well as our app. All right, we are back in our wall-to-wall coverage on our app and on our website. Scott Gordon is in the Canton area. Brian, if you would zoom in just a little bit. Scott Gordon has been in that area that has received the damage. And Scott, looks like more thunderstorms are moving in. Tell me about what you're seeing on the ground there. Okay, we're gonna call him back. I don't think he can hear us, but obviously the rain is coming down in Canton, and they are trying to conduct perhaps search and rescue. Look at the lightning, boy! Look at that. That was pretty impressive. Man, it looked like something was on fire in the background with that lightning strike. Brian, go ahead.
Getting reports via ham radio of wind damage near Sulphur Springs at Highway 19. A large 50-foot tree has been knocked down.
Wow, well, and you called that, man. All right, Scott Gordon, we can see your shot. What are you seeing and what are you hearing on that end in the Canton area?
Well, Rick, we're getting very heavy rain here in Canton at the moment, and this is going to hamper all the efforts of all these first responders here now. We've seen state troopers streaming in here, ambulances, police officers, fire trucks from surrounding jurisdictions. We're on Highway 19 now, trying to head to one of the reports of some of the worst damage. But the damage in the Canton area is widespread, Rick. We've seen trees uprooted, damage to homes, power lines down, widespread power outages here in the Canton area as a result. As far as any firm numbers, we don't have any numbers of injuries. Rescue crews are still trying to get the people. We know that they've set up a triage here in town. But this rain is just coming down, Rick, and that's going to hamper the efforts going on here at the moment.
Yeah, unfortunately, Scott, I think this line that's passing through is going to take a little while for it to move completely on. The good news is, once it does move through, Scott, I think Canton will be kind of out of the woods, but boy, they have the potential for some hail. We're also looking at some of the damage that was shot earlier. Scott, is it possible? Do you know how many structures, or I mean, is it a broad area? At one time, we were hearing that the tornado might have been a half a mile wide. Does that seem consistent with what you are seeing?
We just don't have any firm numbers at this point, Rick. They're still going to assess the damage. We do know that there is damage. We do the sheriff's office and but there's a lot of damage and a lot of injuries. There's just no firm numbers at this early point, and the rain coming down like it is going to make that assessment pretty difficult.
All right, Scott, we appreciate, we're watching video here as you've been talking of the tornado as it about 6:18 when it crossed the highway there just to the southeast of the Canton area, and then eventually crossed Highway Interstate 20. That was from the Thunder truck as they were using the camera that's on the roof of the Thunder truck. Here is Sulphur Springs. We have a bulge.
Severe winds, golf ball sized hail,
catastrophic flooding. When Texas-sized storms hit, the Texas Thunder Truck is ready. Bulldozing through any condition to the middle of the action. Your eyes on the ground, chasing the storm. 3 HD cameras on board for live coverage direct from the truck to keep you safe. The only thing as tough as Texas weather is the Texas Thunder Truck. NBC5, Texas connects us.